Now this is our main melody, and we need to submit this with our final work. You can put the lyrics in there if you intend to use them. Maybe you don't intend to use them, so you don't need to have those lyrics. Now I've been saving this along the way, and rather than reinvent the wheel, I'm going to keep this here, in this case, and I'm going to save as, and call this Variation 1. I might even put the day's date on it, because when I save it again, I can put a new date on it, so I haven't lost the old version. Now, I am going to change this to Variation 1. That's just the way I like to do it. And I'm actually going to keep that melody there for reference. I may delete it in the end. I'm probably not going to keep it exactly the same. So this is just there to give me something to refer to, and then I'll probably delete it. For this, I'm going to hit I for instrument. I for instrument is the best way to go and get access to all these instruments. You probably want to look at common instruments. If you want to look at world music and electronic music, or even all instruments, you're going to have a lot of choices. It's best to keep it to common instruments unless you have a really good reason. I'm going to add a piano to this, so I choose piano and I add it. No need to mess with anything else. If I wanted to remove the piano, it's the same thing, I for instrument, and come back. When I'm eventually ready to get rid of this, click on it, and then you're going to want to remove it. Don't do this. Making it invisible means it's still going to play in the background, even though you can't see it in the score. So if I make that invisible, and I click OK, I've got nothing there. Or have I for instrument, definitely want to make it visible. Better to remove it when you can remove it. I don't think you can remove it because it's the only thing there. So I'll add my that. I think for this one I'm going to add, I'm not going to add the brasses because they're all in different keys except for the trombone. So I'm going to add a flute. Flute is in the woodwind. Flute is in the key of C, so that's not going to cause me any trouble. But now my flute, if I go OK to that, now I've got a piano part and the flute on the bottom. Well, the flute's going to play something like the melody. So, I for instrument, choose the flute, and you just, in the modern age, you want to drag it. MuseScore hasn't quite reached the 21st century, so you have to choose the instrument, and then you have to press the up arrow so that it's in the order that you want. Press OK, and now you've got it there. Eventually we're going to delete this, but for now, that's where it is. Now I can start to enter my notes. If I look at the original, there are some ideas in there. You can't just use this, but you can sort of look at what some of the notes are to help you. The biggest help to you is going to be the chord building video that we've gone through, because that tells you that in order to build a chord, I'm going to start with a D. Use my octave trick. In fact, I might make it a semibreve to make it a little bit easier to see. Then to create the other notes, I'm going to basically just stack them up. Now I've got the notes of the chord. I can copy them into the treble clef, adjust the octave where it's a little bit easier to see. Maybe like that. These are the notes I'm going to choose from. Somewhere in here there's going to be a D, and an F sharp, and an A throughout this whole bar. This is where I start to use those classical accompaniment types. So I might have a bass note that's just the D, get rid of those other notes, and I might have an a la Mozart style. So I know my other notes are F sharp and A, so I can copy that, and if I wanted to, I could select more than one note, and I can repeat like that. Don't exactly want to do that though, do I? Watch this one. Hold Shift, select all of them, R for repeat, really quick way to copy things. A la Mozart, a la easy. So I could go on that way. I could select all of this, Shift, and then I could just arrow it up. Oh, it seems to work. Doesn't always. So now I'm saving myself a lot of time by using that R for repeat, and then using the arrows to go up and down. So again, joyous. And you would go on that way, probably varying your style. And in the next video, I will show you how you can enhance this with some articulation and some dynamic markings.